Welcome back to Let's Play Moon Crystal! Last time around we defeated what we thought was the cat in hand-to-hand combat, except it was actually a cleverly disguised stooge. We then stowed away on board a pirate ship and defeated the captain. And in today's video we're going to be tackling the next two levels of the game. We're getting very close to the end of the game, and we start with the Maclonna Mine. It was actually called the Maclonna Mines in the cutscene prior to this level, but for some reason in the in-game text it's down the Maclonna Mine, go figure. This is kind of an interesting level. There's quite a few traps and pitfalls to avoid. Run straight down these stairs and then stab that guy in the face, otherwise he will hit you with whatever he's throwing. I think it's meant to be a bomb, although it just looks like a purple ball. And in this room here, there's an interesting little trap. We have a boulder falling from the ceiling, and if you walk too far to the right, that turret will come to life and try and shoot you. So to beat it, you have to kind of time it so that you get past the boulder, but you're not too far to the right for the turret to wake up. You can then get a free run, destroy the turret, and then you're free and clear. And first of all, stab this little winged Redarima knockoff, and in this chest is a extra life. Kind of a tricky jump that you kind of have to jump on the very last pixel of the platform. It's pretty much pixel perfect, but it is worth doing that because you can get yourself an extra life. You can also, I find, jump on top of the boulders, but it is kind of risky and it is more liable to hurt you rather than help you. More falling boulders here and conveyor belts. I find it's easier here to take the low road because not only can you avoid that Redarima that isn't and stab him in the face, there's also a heart in that chest. They're being quite generous even at this late stage with the power-ups, and that will actually not stop for the entire rest of the game. Now this guy is kind of tricky. The chest up there is something you really need because it unlocks a couple of secrets at this level. Unfortunately, if you try and go up the direct route, he will greet you with a ball to the face. What you're supposed to do is try and trick him out by getting behind him, and then he won't turn around quick enough, and you can again go up there and stab him. Kind of hard to explain, but that's what you do. So the reason we got that double jump is it actually unlocks a couple of secrets, and those spike robots can be a bit of a pain, especially in later levels. The first secret is up here. You don't actually need the double jump to get it, but you kind of need to go into the background, and you'll get yourself an extra heart container. The second one you need the double jump for, but unfortunately I was kind of an idiot here and forgot it, so I took on the archer before I had to. What you're supposed to do is jump straight into that column of steam. Yeah, that worked brilliantly for me, didn't it? No. I'm doing a very bad job of it, but you're meant to double jump up there, grab onto that ledge, there we go, and in here is a full heart restore. So, in the end it didn't really matter I jumped into that steam, but I'm still a little bit embarrassed. I'm not the world's best video game player, but I like to think I'm at least competent, and that was far from competent. This is actually quite a short stage. Believe it or not, we're very nearly at the end of the level and to the boss already. Just a couple of enemies to fight, and a re-dead that isn't, because obviously this is not Zelda. The spiders are now palette swap gold, and another one of these damn flying demons. I really think they do look like a chibi version of Redarima. I know I've said that like several times already in this recording, but I just do. And they do honestly look like re-deads. It's kind of strange. One last flying demon enemy to take care of, and then we have a kind of a tricky jump, which I made completely trivial there. If you jump too soon, you'll hit the spikes. So our boss this time is a big muscly man in a blue loincloth. He attacks by throwing boulders at you, which he'll do whenever you jump or attack him, and there are actually two ways to defeat this guy. The first way of beating this guy involves exploiting his own attack pattern against him. As you can see, whenever he throws a boulder onto the ground, it shatters into 4 pieces, but there's a little safe area in the middle where you can stand and not get hit. And what you do is you sort of run back and forth stabbing him, except there where he decides to throw a boulder directly in my face because he's a jerk, and he shouldn't be able to hit you. In fact, you can get a perfect on him using this method, but I wouldn't recommend it because it's kind of based a lot on luck. And as you can see, I was hitting him twice there to make the fight go a bit quicker because he has a lot of health. There is actually another trick you can do with this guy. If you wait for him to travel to the right hand side of the screen, you can actually double jump over him and attack him from behind. There isn't really much benefit to this though because he gets back to the left side of the screen pretty quickly, and also you'll take quite a bit of damage doing this most likely, and then you'll have to rely on the running back and forth and stabbing him method, and by now you probably won't have enough health to pull it off, so again, I wouldn't recommend doing this. But by far the easiest method, and the one I would personally recommend, is to run up to him and stab him in the crotch multiple times. If you hammer the button like I'm doing here, he won't actually get much of an attack up on you because his boulder throws are reliant on your button presses. So if you press the button quick enough, he'll kind of glitch out and the robots can't actually hit you. And by the way, those spikes on the ceiling, they're actually too high for you to reach, even with the double jump, making them completely pointless to be in the room during that boss fight. And now we've rescued Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. Actually, no, this is Ricky Slater's mother. But not Mill, because she's been taken away by the nefarious Count Crimson. I like saying that sentence, apparently. That's about the third or fourth time I've said that during the course of this LP. As it's proved the mother's words right, we now cut to the nefarious Count Crimson. There we go again. And his unnamed scientist lackey buddy there, who are going to experiment on Merle. So in other words, he's become Gruntilda from Banjo-Kazooie, basically. And I intend to let this scene play out a little bit longer so you can hear the background music. It's actually playing in the title sequence, so they've reused the music from the title sequence, but I was a bit impulsive on the old trigger finger and kind of skipped some of the text, so not all that music played, but trust me, it just plays the first few bars of the title sequence. Now we're in the laboratory, and this is kind of an interesting level. The difficulty ramps up a lot. Not that the Maclonna Mines was exactly easy, mind you, but the Chaos Laboratory is lined with some rather interesting traps. The hovering robots are back and are much more difficult this time around, for reasons I'll go into a little bit later on. And we have these electric bars and spikes coming up from the floor and the ceiling. And the electric bars are really annoying because the sound effect from them actually penetrates the rest of the soundtrack from the game. So if you stay in an area with the bars there for too long, you're going to be driven insane by that repetitive da-na-na-na sound effect. As I say, these fire robots are a lot trickier in this level, although that one wasn't too difficult. And you want to try and collect as many power-ups as you can here. It is very easy to die in this level. And again, they're still being rather generous with the power-ups. And the double jump lets you take care of these robots a lot easier. We'll save what's in that chest for a bit later on, because we actually want to go back to the screen we were previously on. This may seem redundant, but you want what's in that chest if you can possibly help it, because it's very, very useful. Inside this chest is another extra life, meaning we now have 7, which is actually my lucky number. Unfortunately, this robot didn't get the memo that it was my lucky number, because it decided to be the most precariously placed robot in the history of NES games, and I actually took 2 hits trying to deal with it. That's the problem, they kind of hover above you, so you can't jump up or you'll get hit. You've got to try and outmaneuver them like I did here, or jump up and stab them before they can become a threat. But for this level only, they are kind of tricky to deal with. Now we're going to use that invincibility to go up the staircase. Now you might think that I'm taking too many hits here, but fortunately, as I say, they're quite generous with the power-ups, and I knew that that bomb guy was there. He will always hit you. This jump is kind of tricky to make. Whatever you do not double jump or you will hit the spikes on the ceiling. Seems kind of obvious, but there you go. I do find the hanging off the ledge technique here very useful to avoid being hit by enemies. There aren't that many enemies in this stage, but the ones that are there are rather badly placed. Well, maybe they're well placed from a design point of view, but from the player's point of view, they're badly placed. These spikes look intimidating, but if you just time it right, they can't really hit you. This is just another short stage. In fact, no other stage is what I would call long, but consider this is like the end of the game, this is particularly short. Just beyond this passageway is another cutscene. I bet you were expecting a boss fight, weren't you? Well, you were half right. It's a cutscene that leads to a boss fight. That thing is strange. It's actually... This is kind of strange, because Ricky asked his dad, what's that thing? He replies, it's a lunar system. But didn't Ricky just say in the previous cutscene at the end of the last level he was going to destroy the lunar system? And here's the nefarious Count Crimson. God damn it, I've done it again. And I always imagine in my head that Ricky was shouting, Crimson! Like that. My God, that was loud, I'm sorry. And for some reason, the characters are all repeating each other's first names now. Well, Crimson's not his first name, I'm guessing. The Count taunts us and then says that this is the end. I knew it! It's some guy in a helmet! Actually, no, it's a giant robot. And this is our boss! Yes, we're the boss already. Now, the way to beat this guy is actually very similar to the method you used to beat the pirate captain at the end of stage 4. You've got to jump over him and hit him from behind while he uses this sword to shoot energy bolts at you. This guy is very easy to perfect, but unfortunately I just took a hit there. But other than that, he's extremely easy. But he has a second form! The top of the robot blows off to reveal this Professor Pat Penny from Wacky Races look-alike. This is actually the unnamed scientist assistant guy that was in that cutscene. His attack pattern is also quite simple. He jumps around trying to hit you with his extendable arm, so the references to Pat Penny were kind of apt. And the way to beat it is to get him to land, then jump quickly behind him and hit him in the back. You can also hit him from the front, but it's not recommended because he has a chance to hit you. And again, if you're patient, like I wasn't here, you can actually perfect this guy with not too much trouble. I did find myself having quite a lot of trouble on him in previous attempts. In fact, he killed me more times than I care to remember. Or maybe I'm just not a very good player. It's probably that, thinking about it. But there you are, he's dead and he explodes, and that's the last we'll ever see of not Professor Pat Bending from the Wacky Races. And good riddance. And the reward for beating that guy is to sit through this overly long cutscene. Gee, I shouldn't have bothered killing him. But it is kind of necessary to understand the game's plot a little better. The Count decides to put his nefarious plan to action to transform Merle using the power of the lunar system. And this can't be good because it's flashing purple and green repeatedly. Because, you know, that's the graphical powers of the graphical limitations of the NES. Good job, Hacked. But just when it looks like all hope is lost, and seizures again, and a huge white flash, apparently we just went nuclear, god damn it. The machine shut off. It stopped, yes it did. And now you'll never be Gruntilda from Banjo-Kazooie. I do kind of like the Crimson's face though in that cutscene. And this kind of explains a lot of the plot, and also explains a lot about this character, Rosina, the hideous blinking girl. Because it turns out, she's not really a girl. She's a woman. No, I'm not going to make that joke. She's still quite a light-hearted soul. No, not light-hearted. She's still quite an innocent soul. Yes, there's the big twist. Rosina is not a human being. She is actually a monster, which might explain why she's been blinking all the time. Maybe it wasn't just some strange eye condition. She's actually a monster. She's a simulacrum, meaning a copy, an animated copy. Crimson makes a good point, though, that she is technically a monster, but she's not because she looks like a girl. So kind of an interesting point. Unfortunately, Crimson kind of ruins it with this next bit here. Count away! That's hilarious. Count Crimson is like every cheesy 70s and 80s villain, over-the-top villain, rolled into one. It's just the way he exits, like, there's a very heartwarming speech between Ricky and Rosina about to, and he just goes, well, screw this, I'm out of here! Count away! Anyway, on that crazy note, that does it for part 3 of Let's Play Moon Crystal, and join me next time, when we chase after Crimson and finish the fight. Or that could possibly be Halo 2. Whatever. Until then, bye for now.